Have you ever felt a chill run down your spine when you're alone at night? It's a sensation that's all too familiar to the protagonist of our first chilling tale, aptly named The Unseen Terror. The setting is as classic as it is eerie, a remote cabin nestled deep within the heart of a seemingly endless forest. The protagonist, a lone wanderer seeking solace in solitude, steps into the cabin, blissfully unaware of the horror that's about to unfold. As the sky darkens and the wind howls through the skeletal branches of the surrounding trees, our protagonist settles in for the night, oblivious to the mounting dread that permeates the cabin's wooden walls. The first sign of unease comes in the form of strange noises, a soft thud here, a faint whisper there. Dismissing these sounds as the natural symphony of the wilderness, the protagonist continues his night in peace. But soon, the strange happenings escalate. Objects start moving on their own, doors swing open without a breeze, and shadows dance in the corners of his eyes. The once comforting solitude of the cabin now feels oppressive, claustrophobic. The protagonist's heart races, his breath quickens, but he assures himself these are merely tricks of the mind, figments of an overactive imagination. As the night grows darker, however, the unseen terror grows bolder. The whispers grow louder, the thuds heavier, the shadows more menacing. The protagonist can no longer deny the chilling reality. He is not alone in the cabin. Something unseen, something malevolent is sharing his space. Panic sets in, but he's trapped, miles away from any form of help. And then, in the dead of the night, the cabin door creaks open. The protagonist freezes, his heart pounding in his chest, his breath caught in his throat. He gathers his courage, steps towards the door, hand trembling as he reaches for the doorknob. He steels himself for what he might see, but nothing could prepare him for what awaits him. And as the cabin door creaked open, what was waiting inside was beyond any nightmare he could have imagined. Can the past really come back to haunt us? Let's delve into the chilling tale of the echoes of the past. Our protagonist, a woman named Lily, returns to her childhood home, a place she hadn't seen in over 2 decades. An old Victorian mansion, nestled in the heart of a sleepy town. It's a relic of the past, a monument to memories long forgotten. But as Lily steps over the threshold, she's immediately greeted by an unsettling familiarity. A sense of déjà vu that paints a shiver down her spine. The house, although empty, seems to breathe with life. Each room filled with a peculiar energy, a resonance of the past. The old wooden floor creaks under her feet. The wind howls through the cracks in the walls, and the rusted hinges of the doors groan with every swing. As Lily roams the hallways, she's met with echoes of her childhood. The laughter of children, whispers of lullabies, the smell of her mother's cooking. It's all too real, too vivid. But there's something else. Something sinister lurking in the shadows. A cold draft that sends goosebumps racing across her skin. A flicker of movement at the corner of her eye, a whisper that's too close for comfort. One night, as the moon casts an eerie glow over the mansion, Lily is startled awake by a chilling sound. A child's laughter echoing through the halls, a sound that had no place in the dead of the night. Terrified, she searches the house, only to find nothing but the chilling silence of the night. The occurrences become more frequent, more unsettling. Objects move on their own, doors slam shut, and the laughter, it never stops. Each echo seems to grow louder, more menacing, until Lily can no longer ignore the horrifying truth. The echoes of the past were not just in her mind. They were real, and they were terrifying. What if your reflection was not your own? Imagine the terror that can stem from such a simple, everyday occurrence. Welcome to our third tale, The Shadow in the Mirror. Picture a bustling city apartment nestled between the towering skyscrapers. The constant hum of life outside contrasts sharply with the silence inside. This is where our protagonist lives, a woman of routine whose life is about to take a terrifying turn. She begins to notice something odd, something unsettling. Her reflection in the mirror, once a familiar sight, now seems to have a mind of its own. It starts subtly, her reflection blinking when she does not, tilting its head when she remains still. She brushes it off as tricks of the light, a product of her tired mind, but the oddities continue to grow. As days pass, her fear escalates. The reflection, once her twin, now shows a cold, distant look in its eyes, a smile that never quite reaches its eyes. It's as though her mirror image is slowly being replaced by something or someone else. She starts to avoid mirrors, but the reflection has other plans. It begins to appear in anything reflective: windows, spoons, even the screen of her phone. Her paranoia grows. The reflection's actions become increasingly sinister. It starts to whisper, its voice a chilling echo of hers. The words it speaks, they're not hers. They're filled with threats and promises of a fate too horrible to imagine. The reflection, it's no longer her. It's a shadow, a dark entity that's taken her place in the mirror. It's not just mimicking her anymore, it's becoming her, slowly erasing her existence. She can't escape it. It's everywhere, in every reflective surface, watching, waiting. In her own home, she's a prisoner, a stranger looking in as the shadow takes over her life. The reflection, once a simple, familiar sight, is now a symbol of her impending doom. Her reflection was no longer her own. It was something far more sinister. The shadow in the mirror has become the living nightmare she can't wake up from. It's a tale that makes us question our own reflections, wondering if we too are being watched by a shadow in the mirror. Can a familiar place turn into a scene of horror? Imagine one quiet evening, you're strolling down a path you've tread 1,000 times before. The familiar comfort of your neighborhood street, with its well-worn pavement and the cozy glow of lamplights, should be warm and welcoming. But tonight it's different. Welcome to the world of our protagonist in our final tale, the nightmare on the street. A simple, routine walk home transforms into a journey of terror. The familiarity of the surroundings begins to warp, as if the very fabric of reality is fraying at the edges. The houses on the street, once a parade of friendly faces and warm lights, now stand as silent, shadowy sentinels. The lamplights don't shine as brightly as before. They flicker intermittently, casting eerie shadows that seem to dance and writhe in the corners of your vision. The wind carries a chill that wasn't there before, sneaking under your collar, raising goosebumps on your skin. Then there's the feeling of being watched, those prying, unseen eyes that drill into the back of your neck. The sense of someone or something trailing behind you, matching your footsteps. The soft rustle of leaves, the faint echo of your own footsteps, the hushed whispers of the wind, they all seem to carry a warning. You quicken your pace, your heart pounding in your chest. But the feeling of dread only intensifies. The street you've known for years suddenly feels alien and hostile. Every familiar landmark seems distorted. Every sound is magnified. The comforting cocoon of everyday life is shattered, replaced by a gnawing uncertainty that holds you in its icy grip. The journey home is no longer a leisurely stroll, but a desperate race against an unknown terror. Every step takes you further into the labyrinth of fear, away from the safety and sanity of the known. The once familiar street, your safe haven, has turned into a nightmarish landscape. The familiar street was no longer a safe haven, but a labyrinth of fear. Can we ever escape the clutches of fear? This question brings us to the conclusion of our chilling journey. A journey that has taken us through unseen terrors, echoes of the past, shadows in mirrors, and nightmares on streets. Each story, each setting, each scream has been carefully crafted to stir emotions deep within us, to evoke that primal instinct of fear that lies dormant within us all. These tales, so different in their settings and characters, bear a common thread. The unseen terror, the fear of the unknown, of what lurks in the shadows, is universal. It's the fear of the dark when we were children, the fear of what's hiding under the bed or in the closet. This fear isn't just about supernatural entities, but also about the unknown aspects of our own selves, our own lives. It's about the mysteries we don't understand, the dark corners of our minds we dare not explore. In the echoes of the past, we found that fear can be a haunting reminder of our past mistakes, our regrets. It can creep upon us when we least expect it, chilling us to the bone with its icy grip. The shadow in the mirror showed us that fear can also be a distorted reflection of our own selves. It's the dark side that we all possess, the side that we try to suppress, but which often surfaces in our moments of vulnerability. And then we encountered the nightmare on the street, a chilling reminder that fear can manifest in the most mundane of places, turning familiar surroundings into a breeding ground for terror. These stories, as diverse as they are, all serve to remind us of one thing: the power of fear. Fear has the ability to freeze us, to make our hearts pound, our palms sweat, but it also has the power to spur us into action, to make us confront our deepest, darkest fears head-on. In the end, the scariest stories are those that linger in our minds, long after the tale has ended. These stories, they don't just scare us. They make us think, they make us question, they make us feel. And in doing so, they make us confront our own fears, our own unseen terrors. Because the end of fear is not the absence of fear, but the mastery of it.